Okay, welcome to this Unlock Your Desire Challenge. And I think you might not be able to see me. I think Facebook changed things around. So you either see my slides or me. I'll try and figure out it tomorrow so you can see me. I'd love to see your comments. So if you're seeing this live, can you please post comments? Now I'm just looking at the comments here. And today we're gonna go into the day one of the sexual desire matrix. I'll just give a couple of minutes, couple of moments for people to arrive. We had a lot of registrations, which I'm very happy about, and I'd love to share as much as possible with you here. If you're seeing me, could you please comment? Could you please let me know that you hear me, that you see me? Yeah, okay. So we have you. If you can just comment that you see me, that you see the slides. Okay. Yes, Jess. Hi. Hi, Anne. Can you see me or you just see my slides? I'd like to know this piece. It's hard for me to see if you can actually see me or you can just see my slides. Can't see me. Okay. Well, I'm here. Sorry. I'll figure it out tomorrow so you can see my face as well. But it seems like now Facebook only give me two options. Tomorrow I'll make sure you can see my face. And maybe I'll just share the training and then I'll come live so you can see me. Good. Okay. So to start with, we're going to unlock your sexual desire training. And I'd love you to comment, communicate with me. I can see your comments. It's really nice to see you all here. It's a pity you can't see my face. And so that's what we're going to do today, yeah? By the end of this training, my intention for you to understand the powerful sexual desire matrix and how to apply it in your life. And then you can get deep insights into your sexual desire and how you can enhance it. And that's really important, yeah? What you can do for yourself so you feel more desire. And when I talk about sexual desire, it's desire for life, desire for love, yeah? And I love seeing you, yeah, interacting with each other, looking at your slides. Hi, Joe. And also you're gonna learn the strategies to overcome the barriers to your desire. So that's an important piece, right? We might want to have lots of passion in our life, but then if we have things that are stopping us, it's not gonna work, yeah? So we're gonna look at the strategies to overcome the barriers. And so that's the plan. Day one, today's the day one. We're gonna unlock the power of the sexual desire matrix. Tomorrow, we're gonna look at how to awaken your desire. And then we're going to look at how to overcome the barriers to your desire. On day 4, we're talking about creating heart-melting and spirit-infused intimacy. And day 5, we're going to talk about how to sustain our desire and fulfill an intimacy. And so today we're going to look at why it's important to unlock our sexual desire. We're going to get clear on how lack of sexual desire affects women. And I've done a lot of research around this, and it's quite, it affects us very profoundly, even though we might think, sexual desire, I might have it or not, and it's okay, but actually it does affect how we feel about ourselves as women. We're going to understand the sexual desire matrix, and that's what I've developed myself, so you can't find this information anywhere else. And so the sexual desire is our innate drive that fuels passion, connection, and intimacy. So, and it's not just about sex, right? It's a fundamental aspect of being a human. And there are people who don't want to be sexual at all, right? But then there's still the passion. And it does vary from person to person. And there are a lot of feelings, a lot of experiences that relate to our sexual desire, right? And my take on it is that our sexual desire occurs in response to life, to nature, not just to sexual stimulus. So it's not about sexuality, just about sexuality, but it's about being fully alive, being connected to ourselves, to nature. Yeah? And to become amazing lovers, all we need to do is become responsive to life, to pleasure, to touch, to human connection. And I know that the impact, right, of sexual desire in women's lives, it's big. And it does contribute so much to how we feel about ourselves, to how we feel in our bodies. Yeah, and that's one of my clients, Brianna, that's what she was saying, that prior to learning the sexually empowered radiant woman method, everything felt like a pretense, right? She was going through the motions, but there was not much joy, and she felt like a big part of herself was missing. And when I've done my research, it happens again and again that we feel like a part of us is missing when we're not connected to our sensuality, to our sexuality. And then she says, like, so much has shifted for her that she was able to connect to her divine feminine self, to her source of power. And now everything feels incredible, and ability to speak up and understand herself really changed her relationship with her partner. And that's what women say, that sense of sensuality, sexuality is so connected to our power as women. Yeah. And so maybe you had enough judging yourself. Maybe you had enough of feeling guilt and shame around your sexuality. And I see it again and again. It happens so often. Maybe you had enough feeling dull, feeling disconnected from pleasure, or being sexually unfulfilled. And that's, when women start to feel sex as a chore, and they're just so painful and frustrating for me, because sexuality is such a beautiful part of us. But when we feel it's a chore, it's like on our to-do list, something I have to give to my partner, it really takes away the joy, the pleasure. Yeah. And I hope you do feel my big warm hug coming your way now. And I really know how much women struggle with this. And some women don't, right? But from the research I've done, at least 30% of us struggle with our sexuality. Yeah. And I know that you are here because you want to experience something different. You want to experience the power, the beauty of who you are as a woman. And I really celebrate you for that. And so this is how lack of sexual desire affects women, yeah? It's that we have reduced self-esteem and our body image suffers. And then we feel emotionally disconnected with our partners. And we might feel emotionally disconnected with ourselves as well. It brings stress and anxiety, yeah? And lack of intimacy really destroys relationships. And I work with couples, and I see how we might think it's about something else, but if there is no fulfilling sexuality and no emotional connection, relationships fall apart. And too many women I work with, they feel that emotional gap between them and their partner, but sometimes they just come for help too late, and it's too painful. And quite often partners already got so frustrated without the lack of intimacy, sexual intimacy, so they might have left emotionally. And then it's more difficult to actually bring that connection back, yeah? And I know that also it really, lack of desire crushes our confidence. It crushes our self-esteem, yeah? Because our desire for love, for life, is just so crucial to feeling happy. It's crucial to feeling fulfilled and feeling whole. And also, yeah, lack of affection, when we don't have sexual desire, right? Women might start avoiding their partners, but then they miss on the affection, because all of us want that affection, want to feel held, want to feel cherished, and we miss on that. And that's what the research I've done, is that 43% of women reported sexual dissatisfaction. I mean, that's a big number, right? It's half of us. And I'm sure it's more than that. And it's according to some studies, right? There are different researchers, but that's quite a big number. And then 30 women report low sexual desire, right? It's 1/3 of us. And 91% of women reported dissatisfaction with at least one aspect of their physical appearance. So we judge ourselves so strongly. And I know that you are here, yeah, because you're ready to feel confident and attractive and radiant in your own skin. You're ready to feel desired and desirable. And you want to experience ecstatic, heart-melting intimacy with a partner. I know that to be true, that's deeply, when I talk to women and we go to the depth of what they want, all of us just so want affection. Yeah, and I wonder, even right now, maybe you can close your eyes or just lower your gaze, but feeling, what is my deepest desire? Yeah, why am I here? What is it that I want? What is it that I'm missing in my life that feels like, oh, this longing, connecting to your longing, and what is it? Yeah, and you can post, in the comments. I'm seeing your comments. Yeah, thank you, Anne. I see your. Can you post? What is it? What is your deepest desire? Why are you actually here? Yeah, why are you spending this hour here with me? What's in it for you? What do you feel you're missing? And so your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to understand the sexual desire matrix and learn how to apply it in your life so you unlock the power of your sexual desire and enjoy heart-melting and spirit-infused intimacy. Yeah, thank you, Suzanne. And so these are the benefits of igniting our desire, is that we start living life to the fullest. We start to feel confident, free and desirable. And we can bring that spark back, yeah? It's just so beautiful when partners start to look at each other with that spark, right? With that affection, with the love. And then you can experience emotionally connected sexuality and heart-melting intimacy. And for me, it's such an important piece. It's not just about sexuality, but it's sexuality connected to the heart. And then you'll be really feeling adored by your partner. That's what's possible. Because it's such a special connection, right? We can be friends, we can be emotionally connected and loving and intimate with other people, but with our sexual partner, it's such a special connection. It opens us so much more in physical, emotional sense. Yeah, and thank you, Ria. I see that here, missing, feeling, desired. And it's not just about, it's not just about physicality. It's really all to do with how much love we can open our hearts, our bodies to, and how much we can allow our partners to be there with us. And then I totally believe, and that's when I started this work, is that we become great role model for our children. And I'm so missing seeing you, and you don't see my face. I'm so sorry about that. I'll figure it out tomorrow, but that's on new Facebook. I'm right here with you, looking at your comments. And so this training is for women who want to reclaim the power and beauty of their sexuality, who are done living small and restricted lives where their to-do list takes the joy out of their life. And I see it over and over again. We become smaller, especially right when we're after 40, as we age, we start to feel like, well, my life is over, or like I'm too old, and we restrict our energy. We become so small. So if you really want to bring your bigness, your fullness to the world, this is for you. And it's really for women who want to connect to their radiance, who want to shine brightly, even if you had past negative experiences, even if your current circumstances are less than ideal. And so specifically, this is for women who are in a relationship, who want to feel desired and desirable and enjoy heart-melting intimacy. Also for single women who are ready to let go of all the relational patterns, right, where they keep on feeling unfulfilled and unloved. And I actually think being single is such a good time to do this work, because then you're going to attract someone, you're going to choose someone who is so much better for you. Because if we don't do this work, I see time and time again that we pick up someone who's quite similar or reminds us of our previous partners. And once we do this work, and I notice in myself, who I'm attracted to is so different. And then the relationship can be so much more fulfilling. Also, this is for women who go through separation, and I have these women, I'm doing my courses, they go through separation and they want to find their power as a woman. And so it's such a good place to use your current situation to let go of hurtful relational patterns. And it's because when we're going through separation or breakup, there's so much openness and it's painful, and there's so much more emotional energy that we can really shift things much quicker. So I love working with women who go through separation, because there's so much more openness, and they're so much more ready to embrace something new. And also this is for women who had enough playing different roles, right? And they want to find themselves, right? They want to know who am I? When I don't take care of my kids anymore, what do I actually want out of my life? What kind of sex and intimacy do I want to create in my life? Right? I don't just want to function. I want joy. I want pleasure. I want fulfillment. I want time for me. And also women who sense that their sexuality, right? They sense the power and they feel like on the brink of sexual awakening. They yearn to experience spiritual dimensions of sex. And most of all, this is for women who are done just having sex but desire deep, emotionally connected lovemaking instead. Yeah. And now just a little bit, if I say a little bit about myself, just why should you listen to me? And tomorrow you'll see my face. But I'm Tarisha, and I started this work in 2010. And I'm trained in Hakomi somatic psychotherapy, emotionally focused therapy for couples, breath work, trauma therapy, sacred sexuality, and women-centered coaching and facilitation. Yeah. And I've got 2 degrees in psychotherapy and counseling. So I've done quite a lot on this path. And as much as we know now our society is so much more trauma informed, we need to do so much more to not carry the load, because there's such a heavy load, and I see it in women. When we play all the roles, we have past negative experiences, and most of us had some negative experiences in our sexuality, traumatic experiences. There's still so much more work needs to be done to just let go of all of that. And I love to do it in a group of women. I find that when we do it in a group of women, we have so much more power to let go of that load and just start to feel lighter, start to feel more joyful, start to feel more playful. And I just, working with groups of women is my favorite way of doing it. And I actually used to be an accountant. I'm trained as a chartered accountant, and I worked for Grant Thornton, one of the big firms. And through my journey, like when I was working as an accountant, I really felt so restricted. I felt like I was in a straitjacket, and I felt everything was just useless what I was doing. So I've done it for 4 years. And then when I started, my body started to feel really in pain. My back was so painful. I've resigned, and I was married, and I've divorced, and I went to travel to actually really find what makes me tick, what brings me joy. And I'm so grateful to that version of me when I was 26 that I could leave everything, and I didn't want to settle. And that's what I'd love to give to women, that please don't settle. There's so much more that's possible for us. And sometimes we have to do tough choices. But for me, traveling around the world and learning from experts, from different coaches, from different meditation teachers, how to actually connect to my body, how to connect back to myself, and how to find my desire switch. So I could turn myself on to life, right? And to my partner. But I understood that actually it was my inside job, that I had to find the desire switch inside of me. And instead of going for safety, right, being an accountant was also all about safety, that, I can provide for myself. And I had to break that and start my own business, travel around, and really find what makes me tick. And I know when we break things, sometimes that's such a good time to, start to build something new. And you don't have to break things in a big way, right? You don't have to leave the family and everything. But to actually start to see what doesn't work, where do I feel restricted, and what do I need to do to find my freedom. And that's how I started to do what I'm doing now, because at a certain point when I was learning so much, I had to give back to other people, to be able to take more knowledge, to be able to take more wisdom, more, start to feel more of myself. I was so full with everything that I started to give to people, to women, and now I see how beautiful this work is. So I'm very happy for you to be here. And I wonder, where are you at? What is actually happening in your life as it relates to your sexuality and to your body image? And maybe you can take a journal and just journal a bit, right? Are you frustrated with your sex life? Maybe you've lost your desire. Maybe you see sex as a chore. Maybe you have sex to keep peace. Really journal. What's happening for you in your life? What brings you here? Maybe you lack confidence. Maybe you feel inexperienced, maybe embarrassed, maybe confused in the bedroom. Sometimes women tell me I feel like a little girl in the bedroom. Maybe you don't feel sexy and attractive. Maybe you feel disconnected from your body and you live more in your head. And as a result, maybe you lack joy in life. Or maybe you had past negative sexual experiences that takes away the joy and pleasure. And maybe you sense that there's more possible. So reflect just for a moment, just write down, where am I at? It's so important to know where we're at to be able to go forward. And you can post in comments as well. Where are you at? What's happening for you? What brings you here? I'll just have a sip of water. Okay, and if you can keep on posting, where are you at? What's happening for you? And today we're gonna discover, right, how to feel desired and desirable, how to feel confident, and how to feel at home in your body, and how to enjoy soul-fulfilling sexual intimacy. Yes, Stacy, yes, and that's when I say, right, Stacy says she's got an autistic kid and it's not a lot of private time. And yes, that's true, right? Our circumstances quite often are less than ideal, and it's really difficult when you have a child, right, who needs a lot of attention. And let's see what's through this challenge. Yeah, let's see what we can do, Stacy. Because I still think that you could find, and what I ask my women to do is to have at least a minute or 5 minute practice every day. Yeah. And yes, thank you, Rhea. Yes, and that's a normal experience, right? There are so many of us, we live so much more in our head than in our bodies, and then we feel frustrated and we don't feel as alive. And so this is not just about sex, yeah? It's about reclaiming your desire for life and love, finding your passion, living a joyful and fulfilling life. Yeah, and women that I've worked with, they talk about this, right? How claim my sexuality for myself. It's mine. And I totally believe that it's in our full power to open our bodies and hearts to love, to find our sexual voice. And then once we do that, we can invite our partners into authentic heart melting and spirit infused sexual intimacy. Yeah. And I can't stress this enough, but I totally believe we need to open our bodies to love. It's our job. And in my experience, that through love making, we physically create love in our bodies. We create more love in this world. Yeah, and that's the gift of open-hearted love making, right? It's either for yourself, you can do it with yourself, you can do it with your partner, but creating more love in our bodies. And I know that we're frustrated with our sex life. It's not because of other people, but because we need to connect to the ecstatic sexual energy in our bodies. Yeah. And quite often, right, women tell me, like, well, I was disconnected from my sexual energy. And now it's like, well, it's not working for me anymore. Because I don't know where it is even. I don't have any sexual desire. And I know the solution is in radical self-responsibility. It's up to us to change our sexual experience. And I'm so happy you're here because that's what we're doing here, right? Taking self-responsibility. And now we're gonna go. And like Faye, right? She felt so that in being a straitjacket, right? So restricted in her life and lacked desire. And actually finding that sexual desire, finding her desire switch, would it help her also to open up to her creativity more? Because our sexuality is so connected to our creativity. So it's not just about sex, but it's about being fully expressed in life. And so the challenge is, am I willing, right? And I know that there are a lot of women who stay frustrated, but somehow it makes them feel comfortable. Yeah, and they feel like I don't need to take responsibility. And it's all about others. It's because I'm not attracted to my partner anymore. Yeah. Or they say I don't have time now. Or I just can't change this. Or maybe they say when kids grow up, then I'll have time. And I really get it because it's like standing in front of the tunnel and you don't know what's on the other side. So even if it's not good right now, sometimes women decide I'll stay here because at least I know, at least that's familiar. And the problem I see is that we're not getting any younger. And I work with too many women late in life where they tell me, I wish I knew this before. I wish I met you in my 20s. And then there's still something that stops women to step forward. Yeah. So the time to awaken the power and beauty of our sexuality is now. I'm so happy you're here because it's enough, right, of putting it on the back burner, of putting our fulfillment, intimacy, connection on the back burner. The time is now. We're not getting any younger. And I totally believe that every day that passes without us feeling empowered and fulfilled is just another day wasted and feeling dissatisfied, stuck, feeling miserable. Yeah. And if you're single, as I said, it's a perfect time to look at this. So, you ready for the sexual desire matrix? Here it is. And I'll just look at your comments. Yes, Stacy, and that's what happened, that sometimes we use weight as a protection. And quite often, because if we're not connected to our body, we don't even know how to look after our body. We don't know what to give to our body. And once we start connecting to our body, it becomes so easy for us to take care of ourselves. Yeah. And thank you. And yes, it's a process. And I'm so happy. Yes, it does take courage to do this work. And so this is the sexual desire matrix. And 5 aspects, and they're all interconnected. Yeah. So we just go aspect by aspect now. And now my invitation for you is to just start writing and journaling which one feels like the one you really need to focus on. And I really invite you to just pick one. I mean, maximum 2. Ideally, you want to go through all 5 of them, but it'll be overwhelming. So it's much better if you just pick 1 and 2 to start with. Yeah. So first one, which is not first, right? They're all in circle and they start on top of each other and they're all interrelated. But this is the one we start with, self-intimacy. And that's the aspect where I see myself. So this pillar focuses on understanding your own body, your own emotions, your sexual desires. It's about cultivating a deep connection with yourself to understand personal needs, preferences in intimate relationships. Yeah. So check out, is this the one that you need to focus on? Self-intimacy. And this is a very important aspect, because unless I know myself, I can't really tell the other person what I need. Yeah? Unless I know my deeper desires, I can't express them. And quite often, women who were so focused on nurturing other people, right? Our kids, parents, all the parents, our partners, we lose a sense of actually, what do I want? And quite often I ask women and they go like, I don't even know what I want. So how can I express it to my partner or to other people around me if I don't know what I deeply want and desire? So this is so important. This is foundational. Developing self-intimacy, seeing ourselves. What do I need? What do I want? And let me know if anyone relates to this one. So next one is we need to find our erotic voice. And that what it means is that I know my desires, right? I'm connected to myself, and then I'm willing and able, and I'm taking the courage to speak them out loud. Yeah? Unapologetically. And it's really the ability to articulate our needs, our desires, our boundaries clearly and confidently. And this involves open, honest dialogues, right, with yourself, with your partner. And lots of women I work with, where we go, we're so used to suppressing our desires, disconnecting from them in order to be in service of other people, yeah, that the words get stuck in our throat. We feel the tension, like we feel something, we really want to say it, but then it gets stuck in our throat and we can't express ourselves. And quite often, if we had past negative sexual experiences, in order to protect ourselves, we shut our voice down. Yeah? And we kind of swallow and we suppress it. And I wonder if anyone relates to this one. That actually it's difficult for me to express my voice, to find, right, my erotic voice. And because so many of us had past sexual traumas, it's just no wonder that we can't speak it out loud. We can't share with our partners what we need, what we want, but then if we're not connected to ourselves, right, we don't even know. So can you see how it's all related? Yeah, we need to have all 5 aspects opened up in us, and then we can create fulfilling sexual intimacy and find our desire. Yeah. So next one, and yeah, if you can post, if you connect into the. So we did self-intimacy, erotic voice, and now we're going to intimate resonance. And intimate resonance is there when I see you, and I get you, and I trust you. Yeah, and I feel like we can play together and feel safe with each other. And then that knowing that you get me. And it's all about that importance of emotional intimacy. And it can be emotional intimacy with ourselves and with our partners, yeah? And finding that resonance. So we meet each other. And that does include developing emotional intelligence, right? Empathy towards yourself, towards your partner. It does require focusing on deeper emotional alignment and connection felt with another human. And also about alignment with yourself and respecting your own boundaries. And sometimes I see what happens is that we feel like, well, I know myself and this is my desires, this is what I need, and I'm just going to say it. And if you don't want to fulfill it, then, it doesn't work for me. And what's important here, is actually finding a resonance. Where can we meet each other? Not that I overpower you, not that I'm presenting my desires and needs as a to-do list, right? But actually, how can we find resonance and start playing together? And it's a process, yeah? We really need to feel ourselves and we need to feel the other person. And when we really find that resonance, that's when the lovemaking becomes so beautiful. Because I feel myself, I feel you feeling me. Yeah, and we're doing this together. And it creates that sense of togetherness, that beauty. That's what becomes this deep, emotionally connected lovemaking. And my invitation for you would be, start checking in. How do you find resonance with other people? Yeah, and we're not talking about sexual resonance, but just any resonance. When I meet someone, do I find resonance with them? Or do I just connect into myself, or do I connect more to them, like I'm kind of more on their side or more on my side? Or do I find that space in between of us where we can connect and flow and play together? And it's a beautiful practice to do. Like how do I find that sense of resonance? And I see some of us go more into the other person, and it's like I'm just really there with the other person, I forget myself. And some of us stay really with ourselves, and it's like, well, whatever the other person saying, I'm not really feeling them. So important to feel myself and feel the other person and find that place of resonance. So I wonder if this makes sense. Could you please post in comments if this makes sense? And I'm also thinking, I'm so feeling that I'm not seeing you, you're not seeing me. I think I'll probably send a Zoom link tomorrow so we can all meet on Zoom and we can have a real conversation, because this feels a bit, it's not easy to, okay. And let me know if that'll work. I'd love to. I think Zoom would be better so we can see each other. Oh, nice, Mel. Tell me, what makes sense about the resonance? And I know that also kind of more in a mainstream world, right? It's more, I'm focusing on others. And then there's this more spiritual world where people start to focus more on themselves and say, nah, I just know myself. This is who I am. And you have to accept me the way I am. But then it really disregards the effect we're having on other people and not finding that resonance. Yes, thank you, Mel. Yes. So start noticing, and today maybe just start noticing, where am I? Yeah, do I go to the side of others, to myself? How do I find resonance? And start becoming curious about the space in between. It's such a powerful space. Nice. Yes. That's where we're playing, the space in between. Okay. Yes. And as women, we tend to merge with others, yeah? And actually we had to learn that. Because to feel our children, right, we go fully towards our children and we forget ourselves. So it's important, it's not a bad thing that happens. It's part of who we are as women. And the gift with us getting older, we come to a place actually, oh, I can be with myself as well now. Yeah, and then I can find that resonance with others. So the next step of the sexual desire matrix number 4, the aspect number 4 is body appreciation. Yeah, so when we feel that my body is my home, that I feel safe in my body, and I appreciate everything that my body does for me. And then it's all about encouraging this loving, accepting relationship with your body. And this aspect is so crucial for feeling comfortable, confident in our sexuality. So I wonder if we reflect, how do you actually relate to your body? How do you talk to yourself? Do you judge yourself? Do you kind of, when you look in the mirror, what happens? How do you relate to yourself, to your body? And maybe journal a bit. How do you talk to yourself? Is it with love, with appreciation, or is it like, oh, well, this part needs to change and I need to lose weight here and I need to change there? And it's not to say that we don't want to change things about, right, our bodies. We might want to be healthier, but it comes from a different place. When it's from a place of appreciation and love, it's because I want to take care of myself. Yeah, it's not because I'm judging myself and I don't like it. It's quite a different place. And so through this course, we'll do some practice, but actually, how do I start to love myself and change myself from that place, from taking care of myself? And thank you, Joe. Yes. And that's what quite often happens, right? After we have kids, our body changes. And then when we get older, our body changes. And we start attacking ourselves. We start to become our worst critic. And of course, if I'm criticizing myself, I can't fully relax in my body. And then how can I fully relax and be intimate and sexual with another human being? Because I don't want them to see part of myself, right? I'm trying to hide it. And then we can't have deeply fulfilling intimacy when we're hiding, because there's a constriction. We start to constrict, we start to hide ourselves. And to be fully open to another human, right? Or to even ourselves, to be open to love, we need to relax, we need to open up our bodies. So check in right now. If you criticize yourself, notice what happens inside. What happens to your body if you say something critical to yourself? Notice where constriction happens. And that'll be another invitation, yeah, for you. Start noticing how you talk to yourself and notice what happens inside. Yeah, there's a thought, and quite often we don't even notice what happens, how it affects our body. But when you think negatively to yourself, check in, okay, what happens inside? Is there constriction in my belly, in my heart? What actually happens with me? Okay, so that's aspect number 4. And aspect number 5 is creative exploration. And I find as adults we stop playing, we start to become so serious, and we lose that creative exploration. And it's just so important for fulfilling sexual life. When I play with others, I share my joy, I share my playfulness with other people. And it's all about our willingness to explore and experiment with our sexuality in a safe way, right? Safe, consensual ways. But it's really about learning new ways to experience pleasure, to experience intimacy. Because as human beings, we have 2 needs, right? We have a need for safety, and we have a need for variety, for something new, for something exciting, for adventure. So am I willing to explore? How can I bring more playfulness, more adventure into my life? With my partner, by myself? And check out, like now with yourself. Am I being playful? How do I play? How do I share my playfulness with others? And what I do when I do my 10-week course, what I invite women is to start flirting. Flirting in a safe way, but flirting in a way of just sharing my joy with other people, sharing the joy of being me with other people. Yeah, smiling to people and being playful. Yeah. And of course, quite often when we disconnect from our body, when we judge ourselves, when we have past intimacy traumas, that heaviness kills our playfulness. And that's when life becomes boring. And that's when sexual intimacy becomes like, well, it's kind of more in an effort than a joy and playfulness. So I wonder how you relate to this one. Creative exploration. If you can comment. And so these are the 5 aspects of the sexual desire matrix: self-intimacy, erotic voice, intimate resonance, body appreciation, and creative exploration. And I invite you to choose one aspect that you want to focus on, that you feel like will be the key for you, that can unlock lots of other doors. And it'll be really nice if you just focus on one and you say, okay, what do I need to do? This is the key for me now. And later you can do the other ones, right? All of them are very important and they're all interconnected. And I do invite you in the comments in the group to share which pillar you feel like you need to work on. And maybe if you can respond to at least 3 women, so we can keep that communication connection going on with the group. And you can send them sense of support, because it's so nice to be supported when we're talking about our sexuality. And I know for some of us it's a painful subject. So I wonder if you kind of post in the comments, which one do you feel like you want to work on? Which one feels like, yep, that's the one for me? Yeah, and I see Joe and Mel, yes, the inner critic. So maybe body appreciation, that'd be the one for you to focus on. Anyone wants to focus on the creative exploration? And it doesn't need to be scary, right? It's just one little step. How can I play a bit more? Body appreciation, yeah. And so that's what Julie, right? She really said that doing the practices really helped her immensely to improve her relationship with her body. And then the sexual desire starts to flow. And also she says, I feel like I have made a big step from feeling like a little girl towards being a powerful woman that's inside of me. And that's the piece that I see happen so often, is when somehow when we go into the bedroom, we drop into being a little girl rather than an adult woman. Yeah, and it's not appropriate for little girls to feel sexual, right? And then we feel lost. So it's really what we need to do is to start connecting to the adult woman in us. So the adult can take care of the inner child, but actually to be sexual, connect to our adult woman, and that's the one who goes forward. Yeah, that's the one who connects sexually with another. And Joe, yes, that's the piece. Yeah, when we feel more confident, then we can be more playful and more fun. So that's how it all interrelates. But what can you do, right? What can you do today to create more play in your life? And I wonder if you've got any questions, if you post them in the comments. Post what you intimate. Yeah, Monica. Yeah, resonance. Catherine, creative exploration. Yeah. And so that's my invitation for you, that don't wait for heart-melting sex, but cause it to happen in your life. And going through the sexual desire matrix and looking at all 5 aspects, that's what's really going to change the way you relate to yourself sexually and to others. And so if you have any questions, please post in our Facebook group. That'll be nice. If you feel like it's like you don't want to post there, you can private message me or you can email me. Yeah. And that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. Today we looked at the power of the sexual desire matrix, and it's more of an overview, right? Yeah. So tomorrow we're gonna go more into how do we actually awaken our desire. And we'll look more into that. And on day 3, we're gonna look at the barriers to our desire, which is a really important aspect, Because if we've got the barriers, we can't feel playful and joyful and sexual and confident. We really need to look at the barriers. And then we're going to look at how to create heart melting and spirit infused intimacy. And day 5 is all going to be sustaining our desire and sustaining the intimacy. And that's tomorrow. I really, if you could come tomorrow, we're going to create a new story for your sex life. We're going to start awakening the power and beauty of your desire. And we're going to start bringing more love, more beauty into your sexuality. And connecting your sexuality to your heart. So it's going to be a powerful session tomorrow. And so I invite you for the home player. Reflect which sexual desire matrix pillar you need to focus on as your next step. What is my next step? And reflect on what would it look like, right? If I want to focus, like Mel says, on erotic voice, what would it look like? What am I doing? Is it that I'm really connecting to my desires and just trying to voice at least one desire a day? With resonance. What am I going to do? Is it that anyone I meet, I'm going to just check out, right? Where is that space in between us? What is the next step? What can I do? How can I practice that? And then if you could share your most important pillar on our Facebook group, that'll be beautiful. And then if you can comment on at least 3 other women so we can support each other. We can see their beauty. And because this is such a tricky subject, it's just so important to feel the support, the appreciation, the acceptance of each other. Okay, so this is the end today. And I'll see if I'll send a Zoom link tomorrow, but I really don't like you not seeing me and me not seeing you. I'll figure it out. So you'll see the link, I'll send the email, and also I'll post it in the group as well, so we can all join together. And please do post your comments, post your questions. The more questions you ask me, the more I can answer them, right? The more I can design something that really helps you. And I'm so happy to be here with you. And I do hope that you all can come tomorrow. We're going to have more fun tomorrow and really looking at some practices. Please keep on posting, keep on being here with me. With a big, big, big hug. I'll see you tomorrow.